The road to addiction recovery takes strength, courage, and support. We'd like to now take you on a journey, a 12-part Reclaim Your Life series with our partner at Transformations Drug and Alcohol Treatment Center to meet the many faces of addiction, but more importantly, to understand the uniquely different programs that Transformations offers for specific groups who are afflicted by addiction. Today, we start with a look at the Under 30 program, a program uniquely designed for the younger generation who need to know they're not alone in this journey. I sat down with one young adult who knows this only too well.
By 21, pretty much, I had nobody in my life. I was living on the streets with the clothes on my back, no money in my pocket. It's pretty much just me. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me. I've had, all types of violence, guns, things like that, anything you could really imagine happen to me. But for me, the bottom was really just complete abandonment.
His story could be shared by many young adults today who are suffering from the disease of addiction, a disease that destroys lives, relationships, and careers. For Josh, rock bottom meant finally admitting he had a problem and making the call for help.
Calling your best friend, calling your family, calling, and no one's there. That's what made me, everyone pushing me away because they were good people and they knew that's what it took to get me better, is what led me to the point, to the gift of desperation, was I will do whatever it takes to get clean. I never want to feel this again.
It's the first step that many make in coming to Transformations Treatment Center in Delray Beach, Florida, a place that changes lives on their road to recovery. As a licensed psychotherapist, Joshua Weaver is the leader of the Young Adults program at Transformations. It means creating specific programs designed for the lifestyle of the under 30 population and starting them on a sober journey to recovery. When I spoke to Josh a few months ago, he was so honest about his addiction and what he went through. It was so impactful. How typical is his story today?
I believe that Josh's story is very typical of how addiction is impacting today's society.
And what hope does Transformations offer to young adults like Josh?
What Transformations offers is an opportunity to learn about the origins of their addiction so that they can learn coping strategies to manage what they have experienced throughout their life so they can manage those issues long term to prevent further relapse.
But to understand that, it must be difficult for them because once they let go and say, I need help, it takes time to understand what they're going through, right?
Yes, initially when they would come to Transformations, they sometimes have difficulty in trusting people. And I think that's one of the major parts of this whole process, is they have to allow themselves to become vulnerable when in the past they've been very defensive and only really focused on using to prevent to numb the pain that they've been experiencing in their lives.
Now, young adults have such an active life. They're constantly on the go and they're moving and going, especially in today's society. How do you design a recovery program to fit that lifestyle?
Well, let's say on a Saturday they all go to the beach, especially if it's around one of those holidays where people tend to drink a lot, and they're there as a community in a whole different perspective. They're looking at things with sober eyes, and then they come to Monday morning to the caseload and they talk about their experience, and that may be the first time in their whole lives that they've ever been able to do that.
That must be such a turning point for them to just feel it and realize, I don't need to be drunk or high to be happy.
Yeah, so what we do is we support them in increasing that. So just because they've had one experience, that doesn't necessarily kind of clear the playing field for them. We try to incrementally increase that, so by the time that they complete their treatment at this facility, that they have a really good foundation for themselves to begin that initial stage of change.
And I can only imagine when they finally have that fun without, let's say, the drugs or the alcohol, and they see what they can do, how happy they can be, and what the future holds for them. It's got to be a turning point. It's got to be huge.
It's a huge turning point for them because a lot of them they've never really been able to experience fun, or they have a different definition of what it is. So we are really at the initial stages of them changing here.
But let's be honest, the road to recovery is not an easy one.
No, very difficult.
What does it take?
Everything that they have. But I believe that a major thing is for them to allow themselves to be vulnerable and open about the things that they have experienced throughout their lives, to allow us to actually help them through this process.
If somebody's watching and they say, you know, this all sounds great, but I just can't do it, what would you say?
You can. Yeah.
The key is for each patient to have the courage to seek help and start that journey to recovery. Changing lives is what Transformations is all about.
I think a lot of people don't believe that it's possible. And I think the one addict or alcoholic talking to another is one of the most therapeutic things you can have. Someone that was once at rock bottom that can relate to them, giving them hope through your own story to help them realize that you can come out of it. There is light on the other side of the tunnel.
Like Josh, there's hope for any young adults who have started this journey to recovery. As we continue our series, we'll be looking at programs designed for other groups as well, including adults over 30 or the older adult population. We hope you'll join us to see how anyone in addiction can reclaim their life. Remember, for more information, you can go to transformationstreatment.center and our website, thebalancingAct.com.